All right, hey guys, thanks for checking out my channel again. This is Austin here at Glanzair Studios, and if you haven't had a chance, if you want to just go ahead and hit subscribe to these videos, because hey, we're at 110 of you guys Glanzairers, and I'm pumped to have you guys here. But anyways, just go ahead and hit subscribe, hit that notification bell. But in this video, this is not about that. This video is about how to calculate the cap rates on a small multi-unit. I've been getting a lot of questions on my TikTok account about how do I know if I'm offering right on the house? How do I know if what the price is a good price or not? Well, this video here, I'm going to show you how to do this in Excel very quickly, very easily, kind of from a blank sheet. I mean, I already have what you're going to put in, but blank numbers, how to do the calculations, and we're going to go from there. And then I'm going to post another video later about how do you know if the cap rate is a good cap rate. And I'm also going to add the link in my website so you can just download this Excel sheet that I'm making here. So the one we're looking at here, I'm going to go through, I'm going to put in the numbers, show you how to do the calculations, and I'll allow you guys to download it on my website in the show notes. The other thing is, I just want to say this really quickly too. I did just release the Real Estate Marketing Podcast, and I have a couple episodes on there already about how you can house hack. I've gotten some questions about that, and how you can grow your business through TikTok. So if you can see that there, I know sometimes screen recordings can be a little small on the phone, but I do have the Real Estate Marketing Podcast. You're going to want to check that out as well. But let's just jump right into this. So here's how you calculate the cap rates on a multi-unit, okay? So I already have a triplex, right? There's 3 rental incomes on a triplex. I'm going to capitalize this I just for the sake of it. You're going to first put in how much the monthly income is on all 3 of those units, right? So for example, we're going to make it really easy. Let's just say the first unit is $1,000 a month. Let's say the second unit is $900 a month. And let's say the third unit is $1,100 a month, okay? We're going to want to figure out what the yearly income is on that multi-unit. So we're going to do equals, we're going to do this times 12, and that's going to be how much yearly income this one unit brings into the house. And we're going to do that for the 3, okay? And if you don't know how to do that, you just drag it. It copies over your calculations. And then what we're going to do is figure out how much yearly income this multi-unit is bringing in, right? Just how much money is brought in. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this plus this plus this, okay? So right here, $36,000 of rental income is coming into this imaginary property, okay? So we have that, right? What we're gonna do is we're gonna calculate the expenses on this house, okay? And these are just like simple ones, you know, there's more expenses. I'm just putting in these here, okay? So let's just make up a number. Let's say the taxes on this property are $200 a month, okay? So, and let's say the city taxes, you got your property taxes, you know, all that. Let's say that's another $250 a month. Insurance, let's say, is $90 a month. Let's say trash is $40 a month. Let's say water and sewer is $100 a month. Obviously, I'm making these up. And let's say management, okay, is normally there's calculations for management. I'm going to just make up another number, and we're going to say it's 50, okay? So we have these numbers. They're all imaginary. It's going to be different for every property, but we're going to do the same thing. We have the monthly number. We are going to figure out how much it costs yearly. So we're going to do equals this times 12, okay? And then we're going to drag those numbers down, okay? Does that make sense? So we're going to drag all those down so we know how much each one of these things costs a year. We are also going to then take the total expenses, okay? Total expenses on the property, and we're gonna add them all. So we're gonna do sum, right, of these right here. So your total yearly expenses on this property is $8,760, okay? So we're gonna figure out what your net operating income is, the NOI on the property, okay? So the net operating income is your total income minus your expenses, okay? Total income minus your expenses. So we're gonna just do that right here. We're gonna do this cell minus this cell, and we have a net operating income of $27,240, okay? So this is your net operating income on the property. I'll raise that up so you can see it, okay? And I just want to recap there. What we did was we figured out your total income on the property and your yearly expenses. And I know there are other expenses, but for the purpose of this, we're just going to keep, this is an example of here's how you do it. You can just add more expenses on the left-hand side, okay? Now, here's how you figure out the cap rate of your property. What you're going to do is you are going to take your net operating income and divide it by the percentage that you want to figure out. So if you want to figure out how much the house is worth at an 8% cap rate, you are going to do 27,000, right? You're going to take your net operating income and divide it by 0.08, okay? That is 8%, 0.08. So if that's the case, this house is worth $340,000 at an 8% cap rate, okay? So if your market is selling at an 8% cap rate consistently, the house is worth $340,000. At a 9% cap rate, this is what's confusing for some people. The higher the cap rate, the lower the price of the house, right? So we're gonna take this number, a net operating income, and we're gonna divide it by 0.09. Okay, the house at a 9% cap rate is $302,000, right? Now we're gonna do the cap rate at a 10%. So we do the net operating income divided by 0.1, right? Because that's 10%, 0.1 is 10%, and you can do the math easily. It's worth $270,000, okay? Now, you're gonna wanna look at your market, okay? So now that you kind of know how you can figure out these numbers, right? You're gonna wanna look at your market and see what multi-units are selling for what cap rate in your area, right? So I just happen to live in a decent area, and depending on the county, right, it could be anywhere from 8% to a 15%, okay? We have areas that are about 30 miles away from me that are at a 15% cap rate. So let's just say, for example, I do a cap rate of 15% here in my sheet, okay? You can see that here. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna do the net operating income divided by 0.15, okay? 15%. That house is literally only worth $181,000, okay, compared to if it were in an area selling at an 8% cap rate, which is $340,000, right? So the better the area, okay, the better for the rentals, the lower the cap rate, okay? The worse the area, the higher the cap rate, okay? It's a little bit opposite. The higher the cap rate, the lower the cap rate, okay? But this is how you figure it out, right? So you put in your monthly income. You're gonna figure out the yearly total income here. You're gonna figure out the total yearly expenses. You are going to subtract your total income minus your total expenses, and then you're gonna divide it. You're gonna divide it by the percentage that you wanna figure out, okay? And this is really easy. You can just continue to do this right here. Cap rate 15%. Okay, now the last thing I'm gonna say in here is you can also, like some houses, could be selling at 8.5%, right? So I'm just gonna show you how to do that if you wanna do like in between a percentage point. So let's say I wanna figure it out at 8.5%, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna do equals my net operating income. I'm gonna divide it by 0.085, okay? So right, see how I did that? Now, if it's an 8.5% cap rate, it's $320,000 right here. So you can just kind of, once you figure out these numbers, all you have to do is divide it by the percentage point, and it's pretty easy. So that's how you do it. I am going to have a download on this video in the show notes, okay? So you can just download this Excel sheet. You can do it for yourself, figure out the cap rates. I know a lot of people are trying to figure that out. And I'll have it a little bit more spiffed up for you guys so it looks nicer. But anyways, hopefully this was helpful. Please consider liking and subscribing to this page as I'm getting it going, trying to get content out there for new real estate investors. Like I said there, here's my channel. Check it out, Glanzair Studios. And don't forget about that podcast here, the Real Estate Marketing Podcast. This one about house hacking, I really think is going to be helpful for people. And thanks for checking it out. We'll see you guys.